Hi everybody, we're here for 4-2 work together. Again, 4-2 and 4-3 were all done together on the same day, but you do need to do 4-2 first. 4-2 is where we are going through and we are posting from our general debit and general credit columns. You can see at the top in the question assets, they give you your chart of accounts. They've already done your chart of accounts for you. They've ordered it up. They've inserted the account numbers that you would need. It's all taken care of like we did in 4-1. We're working with a service business here, and we're going to go and post the lines for all of our general debit and general credit accounts. You can see that we have a journal here, a completed journal. It's journal page 1, so make sure you pay attention to that page number because you will have to fill that in on your ledgers. And we are going to go ahead and fill in everything for this general debit and general credit column. In 4-3, we'll get to posting for sales credit and cash debit and credit. The reason we're not doing those right now is because we can actually do those as a grand total instead of having to go each and every line for these columns. Because they're special columns, we have that special column total for them, so we don't have to post them each individually. However, these accounts we do. You can see down below we have our general ledgers that give us the account name and then the account number, and all we have to do to maximize them is just click on the specific lines and you'll get those accounts open. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one is for capital account, and we have a credit to a capital account here of $2,500. So I'm going to open this up, and the first thing I'll fill in is the date, which is that April 1st. The post reference is the journal page that we're working with, which we already stated was page 1. And we have a credit taking place of $2,500. Now, in these first two columns of debit and credit, it's whatever took place on the journal. Sometimes it's going to be a debit, sometimes it will be a credit. The balance, however, you are always going to stick in one particular column, and that column is going to be determined by whatever column is your normal balance column. For example, for capital, our normal balance is credit. So on a capital ledger, the only balance area I'm ever going to write anything in is credit. I will never fill in anything in this debit area. We're starting off at 0, and anytime we have a credit normal balance and then a credit taking place, we add it. So we're starting off at 0. We have $2,500 in credit taking place, so our new balance is $2,500. Our last step is we take this account number, we go up top, fill it in, 310 on our post reference. That is to tell us we've completed posting, everything is done. That's kind of our last step, our check mark to say that everything is completed. All right, next one, prepaid insurance. Let's go ahead and close this and get prepaid insurance open. All right, April 3rd, journal page 1. We have a debit of $330 taking place. Now, prepaid insurance normal balance is debit, so therefore we're going to have a debit balance running here. We're starting off at 0. We have a debit taking place of $330, new balance $330. Account number 140, 140 back on our journal. All right, the next one is supplies. So on supplies, need to capitalize that. April 4, post reference 1 from journal page 1. We have a debit of $160 taking place. So again, for any supplies being an asset, normal balance is debit. I'm starting off with 0. I have a debit of $160, new balance $160. Account number 130, 130 up top. Next one, accounts payable to Ready Supply. We purchased something from Ready Supply and we owe them $160. We bought supplies for $160. So this took place still on that April 4th date. Post reference 1. We have a credit of $160. Now, normal balance for accounts payable being a liability is credit, so we know our balances are going to run in this column for this particular account. We have a credit that took place. We'll add that. New balance $160, account number 210 up top. Now for this next one, we have a check mark. That check mark signifies that my transaction dealt with sales and it dealt with cash. So it dealt with things that were in those special amount columns. Therefore, we're going to go and post these amounts later when we get into 4-3. So I'm going to mark a check mark here. I'm not posting anything, but I'm saying, hey, you know what? I've taken a look at it. So if I look back here and I see that something was blank, I would think maybe I missed it or I skipped it. So I'm marking a check mark to let myself know that, you know what? I don't need to post anything right now, but I at least did look at it. Okay, next one, accounts receivable to Dan Carroll. This took place on April 9th. Still working with journal page 1, and we had a debit of $122. For accounts receivable, any asset, again, we have that debit normal balance, so therefore we have a debit taking place. New balance 122. Account number 120 back up top. All right, next one, rent expense. We're going to go ahead and get that open. And rent expense, this took place on April 12. Capitalize, sorry. April 12. Post reference 1 from journal page 1. And we had a debit of $260. Again, rent expense, normal balance is debit, so we're going to have our balance running in this column. We have a debit taking place, so we will add it, $260. Account number 510, back up top. All right, here's where we have a situation where we actually have a transaction affecting account again. So, a couple of things that we're going to learn here. First of all, we don't need to repeat the month, we just have to fill in the date. Still working with journal page 1. Now for this accounts payable, what we have is they made a payment of, sorry, it cut out for a second. It made a payment of $80. Sorry about that, the microphone went out for a second. So it made a payment of $80. So we have a payment of $80 that took place here. We have a credit normal balance running. We'll only ever fill things in this credit column. So we have a $160 credit balance, but we have a debit taking place. If we have a credit balance and a debit taking place, we're going to subtract. Main thing to remember, if you have two of the same things happening, a credit to credit, you add. If you have a credit to debit, you subtract. Same thing for debits. A debit to debit, you add. A debit and a credit, you subtract. So we're going to subtract here. So 160 minus 80 gives us a new balance of $80. Okay, we made a payment of $80 basically to this company. We still owe $80. Account number 210, 210 up top. Okay, next one is for accounts receivable. So we received a payment. So again, we don't need to repeat that date. So 16. We're going to fill in post reference journal page number 1. We have a credit here of $65. Okay, so we have a normal running balance debit. We have a debit normal balance, but we have a credit taking place. Therefore, we are going to subtract. This person owed us $122. They just made a payment of $65, so it's decreasing what they owe us. They still owe us $57. Account number 120, 120 up top. All right, last one is for drawing. So, April 25, I keep bringing, there we go. Sorry about the capitalization. Post reference 1. We have a debit taking place here of $500. Now, normal balance for drawing is debit normal balance. We start off with 0. We have a debit taking place though. New balance, 500. Account 320 up top. So, I can take back a look at this journal and I can look and see that I have posted everything from the general and debit columns by general debit and credit columns by looking at this post reference column. It's showing me these numbers are all filled in. That is signifying that I've posted everything. We are done with our posting for this particular assignment. Go ahead and save and continue on to the on your own.